Hello everyone and welcome back to the LSI F1 World Championship. We're today for the French Grand Prix. Round 7 already. Round 7. I do not believe it. And it's our first sprint race of the season, which is going to be a very, very interesting one, especially around France. You know, we're going to have a lot of action really early on. And then once again, after a very quick race, we'll have another lot of action for the second race start, of course. So that's going to be something that will be very interesting. Pretty standard strategy. It will be a medium tyre all the way through for the sprint race. And then it will be a hard medium, most likely, for the second race, the main race, whereas some people might want to go for that medium tyre, but I don't know if it's worth it. Very high speed corners, but also high speed just straight line sections, which means that even being on those hard tyres, you might be able to do enough damage limitation to be able to get into DRS pretty early on in a stint on that on a hard tyre. And prevent those medium tyre runners from escaping. So that's going to be something that we'll have to look out for a little bit later on, of course. So yeah, something to consider. We've got a couple reserve drivers, of course. We've got Sebi, Benjamin and Robbo all returning, so great to see them on the grid. We are waiting to hopefully see Jordi join soon. They've had some issues. We had to wait a little bit, but unfortunately we couldn't wait too long, so we had to just get the stream started. So yeah, hopefully Jordi can get into this one. They've still got plenty of time on the clock to get laps in, and as I said, they've got a sprint race to get through as well, so even if qualifying doesn't go too well, they can still get into this one for that secondary sprint race, of course. Now, couple cars on their way out. PJ, Zingy, Robbo. Zingy not set a lap time yet. 9 minutes on the clock. So not really like Zingy, to be honest. Not like most people, actually. Only the top 4 have set lap times. That's it. Luke currently setting the pace of a 30.7. So time trial, it was a 29.5 from Zingy and Jordi. So we're going to be looking at getting to the 29s a little bit later on in the session. Other than that, time will tell. We've got Ben going for a 31.4 as he just tries to get his first lap in, and that will do for now. We've got Niffa on their way out, and Andrews going for a 30.6, a tenth quicker than their teammates so far. I think we can still go a lot quicker here. It was overcast to start the session. This is a bit of a wiggle there for Niffa Jan, who is coming off a bit of a lack of practice, unfortunately. So, they still have that race experience from the last race, round 13, last season at France. So they can still do well here, but they've got a little bit of time to get to adjust to the car, and then they'll be straight into the thick of it. Their teammate is coming across the line to start a lap or end a lap. I'm not quite sure. It is to start a lap, so we'll see what Zingy can do in a minute as well. He was pretty quick in time trial. And yeah, currently looking like he could get to the top of the times. Jordi is in the lobby, so that's great to see. He's going to want to try and get a lap in pretty quickly. He hasn't got too much time, but luckily he is in. That is all that really matters. He still has time to get something done. Niffa Jan coming around the final few corners now to finish off this lap. Where is it going to put them? Now, like, as I said, time trial 29.5. It was overcast to begin the session, so the track is going to be a bit slower, but it will speed up eventually. We got Nifo not setting a lap time there. Did they invalidate and I'm just being blind? I'm not quite sure. We're going to go on board with their teammate, who's currently in 9th place, but they're going very, very slowly. So Zingy is not going to set an improvement lap, unfortunately for him. We have Luke going out for a second run. Let's see what we can find here with Luke as he heads through the first few corners. Now, you've got a mini straight to try and catch your breath, and then you've got a heavy braking section. You bleed off the brakes slightly to let the car roll through. You've got a little bit of a hairpin. It's a tricky one because it's quite an elevation in a short space on the track. Now, you've got the fast corners just before the straight, which can be very easy to lose the car if you're not careful. And then, of course, DRS is available. Let's see what Luke can do, of course. Into the braking zone we go. Hopefully nothing too major of a bit of lag there. They got a car up ahead, which will hopefully move out the way as the Mercedes goes down the straight. The next straight, of course, there's lots of straights on this circuit. This is going to be very, very, very flat. There's no lifting here. Maybe late on into the race with heavy fuel, you might have to if you're following behind somebody, but you're not going to be lifting. You're not going to be lifting, I don't think, at all in the situation, unless there's a sudden jolt in the steering. As you go through the final sector now, what's it going to be for Luke? Into the final few corners, once again, just trying to let the brakes release themselves slightly and roll the car through, let the car slow itself down. DRS available and across the line. What's it going to be here for Luke? It's going to be a 2/10 improvement and a 30.495. Very close to half a second there. So time trial is still a whole second quicker than this. We got a bit more time to find. No one is able to find too many valid laps at the moment though, so that's something that is going to be crucial. As you see, Sidewinder, he's got valid laps in. He's got 30.8 currently on the board, which is a great job compared to the rest of the field so far, so well done to him. The two Red Bulls split so far, so little, but now so far, as that is Sidewinder going provisionally on pole with 30.448. Brilliant stuff there. Sidewinder putting in a nice lap. Other drivers, they're going to have to try and find something because they're running out of time. There's not too long to go. Interested to see what is happening with Jordi because he joined and then unfortunately left mid-session again. He doesn't seem to be communicating in any chat, so I guess he's intentionally left the session and going to sort something out maybe. I'm not quite sure, but that is unfortunately probably going to be him starting at the back of the grid for today's race. That will be how it has to go. Whether we like it or not, of course. We are going to watch on board with I was going to say we're going to watch on board with the championship leader. That's actually not the championship leader coming around the final corner. That's Nifo, who is going a little bit slowly, unfortunately. But we have Zingy, who will be starting a lap at some point soon. 4 minutes on the clock, so a bit of an awkward position to be timing their lap, actually, I will say, because usually you time your lap so you have 2 minutes left on the clock, and that's where the most grip is. But they've gone a little bit offset and decided that they're going to go slightly earlier or a little bit too late, I guess you could say, which means that you are slightly too early to get the maximum potential out of the track surface, of course. But they're going to start a lap. Is it their final lap? I'm not quite sure. If they did make a mistake on this lap early and backed out, it could be something to consider. That is their teammate up ahead, who's going pretty slowly, so they're going to try and look at a DRS train or tow here. I'm not quite sure. Hitting that first apex quite nicely, and then you just let the car get the grip onto turn 2 and then put the foot down as they head into the first, I guess you could call it a chicane, really. Nice and smooth through here so far. Even though he's on the controller, he does seem to be fairly smooth, smoother than most people, to be honest. And as this is a pretty, well, I'm going to say dependent track on traction, it kind of is, and he's very, very good at that, so it's going to be powerful for him. It's just the high-speed, smooth corners. Yes, he is smooth at driving, but it's still not too easy on a controller. Looking good so far, as they unfortunately take it to the curb. They're going to have to abort this lap and go into the pit lane a little bit early on, as unfortunately they're not too happy. 2 minutes and 40 seconds on the clock. They're going to have to go for a cooldown lap here and try and get one final run in, otherwise they're in big, big, big trouble here for the AlphaTauri team. Got PJ sat in P8 at the moment as we're about to cross the line. Are they starting a lap here? It looks like they are starting a lap, so we'll see what PJ can do in a little bit. Not sure entirely what is happening with Jordi. Hopefully he can get back into this one. But right now it doesn't look like they're in the lobby. Maybe they are. But yeah, it's a bit of an interesting situation at the moment. I'm going to quickly do something a second. So I do apologise for quickly going off the screen. I just want to make sure that they have got an invite and they can get in when they need to. But yeah, it's going to be qualifying pretty much done for them, unfortunately. We're watching. Audi leaves the session as they were already in it before, so I'm not entirely sure what is actually happening. But yeah, that's an interesting situation. There's not really too much more we can do at this stage. PJ is in P8 at the moment. That's EagerPro taking an early retirement. He can't get around again on the circuit for another lap, so it's not really any point of him just sitting there and waiting. So that is Zingy retiring from the session as well. He can't improve. He can't set a single lap time. He has, for the first time in a long time, not set a lap time in qualifying, which puts him in P11. You don't get any tyre rules in the new era of Formula 1, so it's not going to give you any fresh tyres. It's just going to put you on the back foot, I guess. PJ is going to come across the line for the final time. What's it going to be for the Alpine? And it is going to be a 1.8 second improvement up to P6 ahead of EagerPro. Lovely, lovely stuff there for them. We're going to go on board with... That is the Mercedes of Luke, I believe. It is the Mercedes of Luke. He's currently sitting in P3. Wants to find a bit more time. Benjamin is currently on pole position with a 30.4. So he's doing a very good job at the moment to get these laps in. That is what so many people are struggling with. Just putting in valid laps. As you could see by the reigning champion, can't seem to find a lap that is able to be put together, and that is Luke going invalid as we watch on board. And Andrews is now going to go for their final run. We've got the two Red Bulls up ahead, but they're pretty close together, the two Red Bulls, so they might get in each other's way if they're not careful. That is an interesting situation between those two. Hopefully they're not close enough to really cause each other too many issues. We will watch on board with one of them. That is Hydra leading the way out of the two. Sidewinder is right behind, so it's kind of his choice to be there, as he is the car behind. The timer was running out, so it wasn't like he could do too much, but yeah, it's a difficult situation. Now, Hydra in P5 at the moment. They're going to try and improve their way up the order. They do have, of course, Sidewinder going for an improvement lap, and then Andrews. Has Sidewinder got any benefit from a bit of a tow, or has he just got a disadvantage from any dirty air, or is it not enough? They're not close enough, maybe, for that kind of situation to be affecting things. They're fairly close to one another. We'll have to wait and see. Hydra's managing to keep this lap valid so far. He's got the final few corners to go, and then that will be it for them. Where will it put them? Across the line now, almost riding over the curb. DRS available, and here's the last bit of slipstream here for Sidewinder. What will it do? They won't be able to improve either of them. It's not going to be enough. And Andrews comes round. The only person left in qualifying. What's it going to be for the other Mercedes? And it's going to be a P2, I think that was. That is Benjamin on pole position for the French Grand Prix. Pole position. Absolutely incredible. Benjamin is on pole position for the French Grand Prix. And Andrews is in P2 and Sidewinder sits in P3. Wow, wow, wow. Look at the margins between the top four. Absolutely incredible. That shows just getting that lap in really does help you. Incredible between those guys. How about that? Alrighty, we'll be back for the race. We'll see you in a bit. The sprint race. Ready? Hold. Go! Who's going to get it into turn one with? Finally away. There you go, Benjamin. Not getting a great launch. That's going to allow the Alpine to get through. But no, there's contact and I do not believe it. What just happened there? Moves off to the other part of the circuit. Takes out End Andrews with him. That's a 5-second penalty for a severe collision. Sidewinder leads the way. It's almost 3 wide and it's 3 wide. There's more contact as that's now Luke down the order. More start issues between the lot of them. And that is now Benjamin recovering. But Zingy goes from P11 to P2 with just a few corners. What the hell just happened? That's now Robbo right behind Benjamin here, trying to get a good run after Benjamin's issues right then. Nifojan is going to make it 3 wide. 3 wide for Nifojan. He's going to have both of them. There's contact as Robbo couldn't go anywhere. It looks like there's almost more contact with the Aston who makes a move. PJ going up the order. Benjamin actually went off the circuit. Is he going to have to let somebody go? He's not. He had to let Nifo go, but it's still so difficult through here. 2 wide, many cars involved. They just about filter through. No, Eager Pro right behind Benjamin here, trying to get through, trying to swarm Ben as they had that bad start initially, but not enough space there. Eager Pro going for a very opportunistic stand is now going to lose out to End Andrews, who's already going to make this move back. Absolutely crucial right there. Crazy stuff. I don't understand what happened off the start line, let alone turn one, but luckily, most people are still in this race. Unfortunately, Heisler has had issues and they've got damage. Everybody else is staying with everybody else for now. There's a big train. You've got the top 2, of course, Sidewinder and Zingy, running away a little bit. Then you've got Nif on his own and then a train starting with PJ. Everybody else behind who's so close to one another. Here you go. You can see Sidewinder, Zingy, Nifojan, and then here we go. PJ starts the train. He's going to be under immense pressure. He's got all these cars behind him wanting to overtake. Not yet is the DRS available. Big lag. Big lag. Okay, so that is not ideal, and that's going to have to be looked into a little bit later. Unfortunately, everybody else behind can't really do too much at the moment. They're just having to sit there and wait. Unfortunately, we can't really do too much until we get some sort of messages from the other drivers to see what is going on. But at this point, it's looking interesting from our perspective. That's all I can say at this stage. Everybody in that train, Benjamin has that 5-second penalty, of course, and he's not going to intend on making any pit stops, so that's going to be pretty painful for later on, of course. As you see, the other Alpine looking very close. That's Benjamin trying to have a go on the Aston of Sebi. He can't quite find a way through, but he is looking very feisty at the moment. Not going to be pushing just yet. DRS isn't available. It's not really possible to have a look at the move. But like I said, they're so close to one another. If they make a single mistake, then they're going to be eaten alive, to say the least. Now, what's going to happen? DRS is going to be available, and that will be available primarily for Zingy for the first time this race. DRS will open, and he's going to get a lovely slipstream, a lovely tow, but it's not going to be enough to make a move for the lead right now. Is there anybody else behind going to be looking at going for a move on PJ? PJ's done enough to stay ahead for now, so he's doing a great job to keep those cars behind. No one else can get too close. No overtakes for now. Is anybody going to get a good run here? It's close, but it's not close enough for anybody to make any overtakes. Eager Pro sitting in front of a Luke, but behind End Andrews, so in a Mercedes sandwich right this second. Oh, and that is another mistake there for Benjamin as End Andrews tries to have a look, but he can't do anything about it for now. Still just having to sit there and wait at the moment. I'm not sure if there's any issues with lag or not. In the meantime, you can see Zingy and Sidewinder. They are kind of battling, I guess you could say. It's allowing Nifo to lose minimal time, but there's no overtake there for Zingy. on Sidewinder. He can't find a way through. That is the Ferrari looking very, very close to the car ahead. Oh, and that is Luke retiring. He's given up. He's voluntarily retired from the race, and that is it. Luke is not going to be finishing this race. I do not believe it. On the exit of turn 1, his car is driving. I'm not quite sure. That's an interesting one. A heck of a shame. Alrighty, and that is now the rest of the field's a little bit more split up. One Mercedes left, and here we go. That is going to be the Alpine of Benjamin having a look at Sebi. Will End Andrews try and get in on the action? He wanted to have a look, but it wasn't enough. Robbo couldn't find a way through. Zingy couldn't find a way through to get to Sidewinder. Sidewinder is carrying him at the moment, so doing a phenomenal job. Is he at this stage of the race? End Andrews so wanting to get through, but he can't. He just can't find a way through on this Aston. Looks to the inside line, and he's going to send it so close with the Alpine. The Alpine had no idea he was there. They managed to avoid any kind of tangle, sticking his nose back to the inside as Sebi, but Sebi can't find a way through. He's going to have to yield and give that one up. Now, End Andrew's going to have a look at Benjamin here and try and find something in the performance of the car. What can he find here? And when can he find it? He wants to find it as soon as possible. That 5 out of 9 we are currently on. So running out of time slowly but surely. We are going to look at the, I want to say the race leaders, but I think Robbo and PJ are pretty close together. And they're going to be looking at some sort of battle here. And that is a flashing light on the back of PJ's car. Let's have a quick look at Zingy just to see if he is going to have any kind of overtake or not. I'm not quite sure. DRS will be available. Is he going to push for it at this stage of the race? No, he's just going to sit behind Sidewinder. Can't find a way through. Nippo has now got DRS, so they're in this battle. Here we go. Now Robbo is closing up to the Alpine. But they're not going to close up enough. They're going to have to sit behind for now, and that will be that. No pressure for the other Alpine as End Andrews can't get close enough either. It looked like he might have got a good exit, but it wasn't enough. The pole sitter currently in P6. That is Sidewinder being passed by Nifo as he does... being passed by Zingy, sorry, as Nifo's now going to be in that DRS. Maybe Zingy was waiting for Nifo to get that DRS and then allow Nifo to be able to kind of work himself into P2 with DRS assistance rather than Zingy having to fight hard. Yodi joins the session back, and hopefully they can get into this one a little bit later on, but horrible luck for them so far this season, as that is a mistake for the Alpine of PJ, and that's going to be Robbo going for the move. Is he just going to get the move done? He will, and they're not going to fight each other too hard, but I'll tell you what, who will fight each other is End Andrews and Benjamin, as he still wants to try and go for the move again, try to find a way through, but it's not going to be possible. The Mercedes is through for now, but Benjamin wants to get that position back. He doesn't want to drop any further. 3-second time penalty for Sebi as he's lost a position to Egapro. So pretty heartbreaking for him after such a good start. Here we go. Benjamin, DRS available. Is he going to want to go for a move anytime soon? Is it going to be possible to go for a move anytime soon? No. He's going to have to sit behind, and that's going to be that. He will not be able to do anything about it. The yellow there as that is behind. Who was that? Was that an owl? Aston. Sidewinder. It was Sidewinder. I do not believe it. What a shame, going from P2 all the way down to P8 on the exit of the chicane. No. 1 point currently up for grabs for them as they are sitting in P8. And that is the worst possible outcome there for Sidewinder. What a shame. He can maybe get back in this as he can see the cars ahead. Igapra and Benjamin are having a little bit of a battle. Of course, Ben has that 5 second as well, so he'll automatically get that position. He just wants to try and find a way past Igapro. Otherwise, he could be in a bit of trouble. There's an AlphaTauri 1-2 on lap 7 out of 9 of this sprint race. Robbo sits in P3 and PJ just trying to wait behind to the later stages of this race to see if he can hold on to that or fight for that podium. End Andrews sitting in P5. They've got a bit of a gap to the cars ahead, and they have a train behind them, Benjamin holding on. Igapro really hates this train because he can't find any easy way past Benjamin, so they're all in a bit of a difficult situation. One driver wants someone to do something slightly different, but it's not really working the way they intend. And Andrews is closing up, but he's not really closing up enough to do anything too much. That is Benjamin just sitting there at the moment. The time penalty is crippling for Igapro. He can't really do anything about it, though, and it's more crippling for Sidewinder, I'd argue, because he's in a DRS train and he can't find a way through. But what a long DRS train this is, and look at this. PJ sitting there trying to size up a move for the final few laps. He knows what the situation is. He knows what he's got to do. He's got to try and get this position on the final lap of the race. Otherwise, it's just not going to happen. He can't, of course, afford Robbo to escape too much at the same time, so he's got to really calculate this. Lap 7 out of 9, we're about to get to lap 8, the closing stages. It's gonna be very, very interesting. Robbo currently in P3 at the moment. What can they do here? What can they find? And Andrews now in that DRS range. Unfortunately, Ben, he has lost out. He's got a 3 second as well. So more problems for him. And Andrews is going to try and get in on this little battle. We'll watch up ahead as you see PJ, who wanted to look for a move, unfortunately loses the car a little bit and has more issues. That is not what we want to see at all. And Andrews, is he going to look for a move on PJ already? Flashing light for that Alpine. He can't get close enough. He's going to outbrake himself as End Andrews, and he's not going to be in a good position. That is Igapro and Benjamin going side by side. Igapro will get ahead, and Benjamin can't find a way through, and he's actually going to lose a position there to Sidewinder as well. Flashing light here for Igapro. Sidewinder, not so much, so he's going to be on a bit of a charge here. Is he going to look for a move already? If he can send it into the braking zone. Igapro goes slightly tighter than usual. He's going slightly defensive, as he can actually see PJ in P5, who's made a mistake and now drop behind End Andrews and Robbo. End Andrews is going to have a free shot at a podium after all this. Who's going to get ahead? I don't quite know just yet. Now, Sidewinder waiting behind. They're hoping that Igapro doesn't have the DRS of the car ahead. He doesn't have the DRS of the car ahead, so he is going to have a nice shot, although Igapro has just spent part of a lap trying to save up that energy, of course. We've got End Andrews, who's now going to have their final chance at getting past Robbo, and I don't know if they have the energy to do so. Robbo's been fighting with PJ pretty much most of this race, and Andrews just been trying to slowly pick off the cars. So who's been pushing more, and is it going to pay off now? DRS available for the final time, the final major overtaking opportunity here for End Andrews. Is he going to have a go, or is he just going to secure that P4 on the grid? He's closing, he's closing, he's closing. Robbo will hold on for now. Anybody behind? Are they going to go for a move? Sidewinder gets close, but it's not enough. We'll go back to P3. Now, End Andrews, will he get the run? Is it going to be up the hill? Will it be enough? It won't be enough. I do not think. He's going to have to sit behind, and everything will be decided as it is. What a battle. What a battle. That will be how it's decided. I don't think Sidewinder can find a way through. He's just a little bit too far back. Everybody's blasted their batteries now, and it is over unless they can find one final send into the final few corners. Is End Andrews going to have a look at Robbo? It's not worth it. It's really not worth it. It is worth it. He's going to go for it side by side. There's a little bit of contact, just a wheel bang. Zingy wins the sprint race, and that's going to be Niffo in P2. Then we have Robbo taking a P3. End Andrews, PJ, Igapro, Sidewinder, Benjamin, Sebi, Yordi, and Heischler. That is Benjamin dropping out of the points after they get those time penalties. Unfortunately, Yordi will just about finish in P10. Not what they wanted, but unfortunately, it's what has had to happen. Now, I do threat that Yordi 1 will have a default setup, but also we might have some lag issues because there was a couple of issues at the start of that race. And a couple cars were glitching around the circuit, so that start crash might not actually be what it seemed initially. We'll have to check in and see later on, of course, because you never know. We can only state on what is live at the time. But we're going to have to stay vigilant. We might have to go for a restart. At the moment, we're going to stay as we are. But we'll see. Zingy, driver of the day, P11 to P1 on the sprint race. That is how you make it work. Qualifying does not matter for this man, as that is Zingy taking the win, Nifo in P2, Robbo in P3, End Andrews, PJ, Igor, Sidewinder, Sebi, Benjamin, Yordi and Heischler. DNFing was Luke earlier on. We'll skim through the race director. No, we won't, because that's not how it works in F1 22. It doesn't actually work. We'll be back for the race. We'll see you in a bit. Ready, hold, go! Who's gonna get it into turn one? We're finally away. Zingy gets away well, as usual. Nifo's gonna slot into P2, but it's what about happens behind. We've got Robbo to the inside, to the outside is End Andrews, and he swoops through, gets to P3 immediately. Is a switchback available for the Ferrari? No, his run will be stopped. That's Jordi into P6 already, as he fights for P5, does cut the corner unfortunately, but he's there. That is unfortunately PJ Round. Issues for him early on. Oh, what a switch up, but Jordi into P5. Absolutely incredible at the moment on that soft tyre, to be fair to him. But that is a weird situation to be in. He's right behind, and he's looking pretty racy at the moment. He's not going to be able to make any moves at the moment, but yeah, he's right there. That is Sidewinder having to let Benjamin go. Luke making his way up the order after their sprint race issues, as they're now in P9 already, just trying to pick off this one, and this time they're able to get out of some race start shenanigans. So crucial for them, of course. Now, what can we find here? What's going to happen in this early stage of the race? I'm really interested to see what happens here, as Yordi's absolutely rapid, trying to make the best of these soft tyres as he swoops around the outside. Phenomenal move there, even on a default setup. Maybe the default setup isn't too bad around France. That's something to consider, of course. You could change the brake bias, you can change everything else, but yeah, pretty good job from Yordi right now. He's right behind End Andrews. He's spamming that ERS, and he's gonna zoom through already. That soft tyre is absolutely incredible at the moment. Very good stuff for him. Right now, he can't really find too much at the moment to make any more moves, but it's only lap 2, and he's already in P3. Incredible start for him. Very, very good stuff. There's side-by-side moment with Heischler and Ben, and that is who going to take it in front. Heischler will have the position for now, and Benjamin's going to have to sit behind at this stage of the race. Zingy leads the way. That's Nifo going to be passed by Jordi, possibly already. No, Nifo has managed to get the benefit of that straight line speed, and he's going to be leading the way for the time being. He's going to continue to lead the way unless Jordi can use these soft tyres. He's got the grip initially, but Nifo has the straight line speed in the end. He's going to stay ahead. Brilliant stuff for Nifo here. There's a bit of a split with the other Red Bull of Sidewinder as the train starts to kind of form. Then we have Eager Pro sitting behind. He's got his teammate today, Sebi, right behind him. So tough stuff at the moment. And Andrews trying his best to get here, but that is, Jordi going for a move on Nifo. Phenomenal stuff into the S section. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant job. That is a red flashing light already, though, on that McLaren. So he's gone aggressive. He's made the moves that he needs to on this soft tyre. Now he's going to have a bit of damage limitation and hope the DRS is enough for him to do something about this, of course, as he goes for a phenomenal fastest lap. Very, very, very good stuff. Zingy leads the way. Got a slight bit of a gap to try and help him play with. He doesn't have any DRS himself, but I'm sure he has a little bit more energy than Jordi after he pushed all that way. Now, the top runners are very, very quick in a big train, and DRS will be available on this lap. Is anybody going to be able to actually make an overtake? I don't think so. I think we're going to be stuck as we are for now. We'll watch on board, though, and see if anybody can get a good enough exit. And Andrews will not have a go at Nifo. Jordi will not have a go at the car ahead of Zingy. As you can see, Nifo catching significantly interesting defensive manoeuvres from Jordi as he goes slightly defensive but moves back to the racing line. He's got to be careful in how he does that, otherwise he could be in trouble. Nifo is going to look to the outside line. Jordi is going to be right there. There's contact between the two, and they tries to squeeze each other, and that is now going to be End Andrews making that position as he rejoins the circuit, tries to stay ahead of Robbo. Robbo's going to be right there, but they're going to have to wait behind. Nifo will sit in P4, and luckily for them, they're not too far away, and they can still hold on to a DRS situation at the moment. That is a yellow for Heisler, unfortunately, as he has another issue. Makes another mistake there. Jordi will lose DRS, it seems, to Zingy. Did he get it in time? He didn't, and that's going to be End Andrews looking at a move very, 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 very soon. So he's going to be loving this situation, not going to be going for a move right now. He's just going to be sat behind and waiting. End Andrews wants to find some sort of way at getting through, and if he can do it now, he might be able to get slungshot to then have a go at Zingy. That lack of DRS or ERS that Jordi has, it really screws him up because it's more powerful than DRS itself. So will End Andrews be able to have a go at a move right here? Will it be enough, or is he in a bit of a tricky situation at the moment? That is the question. End Andrews catching up. He's not going to be catching up enough to make a move. He might have a look on the exit if he can secure a good exit. Jordi's tyres are only going to get older from this point onwards, but that is Zingy losing a lot of time as they go into the chicane there. Here we go, and Andrews catching a lot. You can see he's catching massively, massively, and he will be right on the outside. And Andrews goes to the outside line, and he makes the move stick. That's absolutely incredible. Jordi going to try and stick it back to the inside. There's no way he's ever going to find space there. He's going to try and do a switcheroo to the inside as he's really trying to push everything he possibly can. The space is minimal, and he just about gets through. That's absolutely incredible. Incredible from both of them there. Jordi holding on for dear life on these soft tyres. End Andrews, that was an amazing move in itself, but that was an incredible battle. Nifo couldn't do it earlier on. I don't know what happened there. We'll have to check in later on, but that is amazing. Amazing stuff. We've got a switch up here. We got Luke making a move, I think, on Sebi it was. So now, 3.7 seconds behind the rest of the field. He's got a bit of work to do to try and catch up. Can he do it, or is the DRS going to be a little bit too powerful? We've got Sidewinder, Robbo, who's just sat behind there in a bit of a DRS train. We've got Niffo sat behind End Andrews, who can't find a way through. He tried to give it a shot at Jordi just then, but Jordi's still running out of that ERS level. He's got DRS, and he's just using that to defend from the cars behind of End Andrews. End Andrews can't do anything too much at the moment. That's a mistake there for Egapro, unfortunately, as he does lose out quite a lot there. End Andrews going to be catching up once again. This time he's not going to be close enough to make a move just yet. There will be a bit of a tap, and that is going to be a slight loss of the rear there for Jordi. That's a little bit cheeky there for End Andrews, but he'll give the position back and he won't fight Jordi. As you can see, he does a bit of a wiggle in annoyance, but End Andrews backed off, so he will let him stay ahead. Nothing really done too badly there, as it looks like Jordi is holding on to DRS, so nothing affected at this stage. But that was a close call as you go through that fast right-hander. Loses the rear as he's really pushing with everything he possibly can. Holds on to the DRS. Niffo sat behind. He wants to try and get back through. He started pretty well, but unfortunately just couldn't get back through on End Andrews. He managed to hold on to the move over Robbo as they were side by side when he rejoined the circuit. Robbo's right there. Sidewinder's lost the DRS range, unfortunately. He might be able to catch up into the DRS sections, but ERS-wise, he's pretty much dead, and it's going to be extremely difficult. 3 seconds to the car behind of Luke, who's going to try his best to catch up here. The battle continues. This time, Jordi's a bit closer here to Zingy. He's going to catch up a little bit, not too much, but he will catch up a little bit at least. And Andrews is having a look. He knows he's in a good position. He has that DRS and he has the better tyre compared to Jordi. He needs to make sure that he has the advantage, but that is a big crash. A big crash. And Jordi is out of the French Grand Prix. Oh, no. What a way to end this one. Lap 6, another early retirement, but no safety car once again. And that is somehow us carrying on. Massive crash. Jordi gave it his best shot. Now End Andrews is released behind Zingy. Is he going to get DRS? He gets a 3 seconds regardless of the situation. Absolutely crucial stuff here. Mental, no safety car. Remarkably, I don't understand. I do not understand. Doesn't get the DRS as End Andrews. He's going to be pretty slippy in a straight line, I assume, though, so he will be able to catch up. That time penalty, however, will screw him over a little bit later on. So not ideal exactly, is it? It's going to be very tricky to have the advantage. Unless other cars get time penalties, of course. Unless other cars get time penalties. We'll have to wait and see how it goes. But Zingy is going to be under pressure from End Andrews, who is going to be sat right behind. We're going to look at the details on the tyres, etc. Positions gained. And here we go, the tyre situation. End Andrews has the advantage at this stage of the race with that medium tyre. Robbo, unfortunately, has broken away a little bit, so it's just the top 3 battle at this stage now. End Andrews will not be able to catch up this lap, but he's going to try and settle in and maybe have a look at something a little bit later on. In the meantime, Luke is catching up to Sidewinder, trying to make some progress right there. Time penalty wise, we've got 3 seconds for End Andrews, 5 for Heischler, and a 3 second for Egapro as well. We'll have to see how those guys get on later on, if they have more issues or not. Alrighty. Zingy leads the way, 6 tenths in it. We're about to start lap 8 out of 27. And End Andrews has had a lap now to think, okay, I'm going to try and psych up a solid move here on Zingy. If he's not going to try it, then he might be in trouble, because, yeah, sure, he can hold on to a DRS train, and maybe a medium tyre will be able to stay on longer, as it does get more worn, but is in DRS, so it helps it gain some pace. But if he doesn't try and get ahead and have some sort of pace advantage, he could lose out, because the other guys are going to be on the mediums later. He has to try and think of a big undercut, and that will be pretty much his only way of getting some sort of significant advantage. Time will tell what he is going to do strategy-wise, of course, but we'll have to wait and see how it goes. You're already having some PC issues, unfortunately, and after that, it just made his race very, very difficult, so he wasn't able to do too much about it. Really painful for him. Just having to sit there right now. You see the top three very, very close there. You can see Nifojan right behind. He is almost touching the back of that Mercedes. They're in a sandwich, and Andrews, and they're on that medium tyre, so Nifojan isn't going to be happy. He wants to get through sooner rather than later, of course. That is unfortunately a mistake from Sidewinder. He's going to lose a position to Benjamin as he tries to get ahead and stay ahead of PJ, but it won't be enough. He's going to actually have to give a position up to Sebi there. Starting lap 9 out of 27. Zingy still leads the way after a brilliant start. Had not too much pressure. Looked like he was about to run away with it earlier on, but unfortunately for him, he wasn't able to do so. Good news for Andrews, he's able to stay in a battle. Bad news as well, I guess you could say, for Nifojan. Nifojan doesn't want Zingy to run away, but because of this train, he can't actually close up Zingy, or get past, I should say, the Mercedes. As he makes a mistake, unfortunately, just about keeps it together. He will hold on to DRS range just about, I believe. He won't. He won't, unfortunately. I didn't realise the detection zone was right there. And Andrew's looking very, very close to the back of that Alpha Tauri, but he doesn't seem to want to really make any kind of move just yet. Is he going to try and go for an overtake now? Nifo's lost out. If he can, he has a bit of something to play with, and he will go for it. Zingy going to go defensive, then goes to the inside line, and now going for the switchback. Does Andrews going to try and find a way to stick his nose in, but cutting him off was Zingy there. Aggressive, just about fair. And Andrews, in fairness, wasn't close enough to really make a move. So Zingy does rightfully take that racing line. And Andrews knows what's going to happen here. He knows that Zingy means business. Nifo's now called up to this one, as they do have a little bit of a tussle. So maybe it's time to consider, okay, you know what, I'm just going to sit behind, wait in the DRS for a little bit longer, and then go for a nice undercut, because the undercut is going to be something that will benefit me nicely. When will he go to the pit lane? That is the question. Is he going to go within the next couple of laps and try and go a lot longer? Because honestly, that's the only way I really see it for him. I don't know. Is there going to be something other that he can do? Robbo sitting in P4, 4 seconds behind the top three. They can't really do anything at the moment. The DRS train is very, very powerful. Luke hasn't caught up to Robbo, however, so he's lost a little bit of momentum, unfortunately. Back on with this, though, as you see, Andrews closing up nicely. Going defensive was Zingy, as he goes to the inside pretty early on in the straight, but the second part of this straight is where it's going to be really interesting for Andrews. He seems to like this part of the circuit here as you go up the hill. Is he going to have enough of a straight line advantage to be powerful, or is he just going to sit behind? I don't know. He's just going to have to sit behind for now and wait. Nifojan is right there. He is right there and looking very, very strong. He just can't get through. That Mercedes is in the way, and it's really annoying him. He won back here last season. He won last race at Imola, and he's very, very strong despite coming into this race with pretty much no practice. So fair enough to him. He's had that sprint race to try and get used to things, which seems to have worked, as that's Andrews not getting the strongest of exits. Nifo saw that opportunity, but it's not going to be a big enough opportunity to execute a move. He can kind of see now that's a 5/10 gap that Andrews has to Zingy. Maybe his tyres are breaking away a little bit, and it might be time for Nifo to push a little bit more aggressively to get through. But as soon as Nifo does that, Zingy's going to start pushing pretty hard, because he knows now he's got the equal tyre behind him. Not saying that he's not pushing hard now, because he is, but he knows that Andrews is on that medium tyre, and he'll be able to get that position back. Here we go, though. Andrews is going to get his first major opportunity to overtake as he decides to back off. He decides to back off. He had the inside line, doesn't want to go for it. Zingy all of a sudden went to the racing line. Now on the exit, this is where Andrews wants to go for it, but he's too far away. He backed off, but way too late. And unfortunately for him, that is going to be his run completely over. Nifojan so close as he makes a mistake misjudging the car ahead. So he's got to be really careful. But he's very pacey at the moment. He just needs to relax, because otherwise he could make a major mistake and there could be somebody spinning round. Zingy leads the way as we will head on to lap 12 out of 27. The question is, when will Andrews make a pit stop? When will he make that pit stop? I do not quite know. Time will tell. DRS is available once again, but as it's cancelled out for Nifo, Andrews can't really do too much at this stage. He's just sitting right behind, waiting for Zingy. The problem is the longer he waits, the worse his tyres are getting. As you can see, there's a little bit of a lock-up right there. A little bit of a lock-up. So, can't really do too much. No overtakes right here. I don't think Nifo's not going to be in a position to make anything. We're going to go back with the Alpines, I should say, as he makes a mistake. And that's going to mean that Benjamin might want to have a go at a move or something very soon. Not quite sure. Here we go. No. Maybe that's just a big misjudgment there for me. I do apologise. It is what it is. We'll go back to the top three very shortly. But these guys are having their own little battle. PJ on that medium tyre. He's going to also have to take some sort of consideration to go into the pit lane very soon. Yordi, I'm very sorry that that's happened. Unfortunately, there's not really much I can do at the moment, of course, because everything's running. If it was a big issue of lots of people involved, then we'd restart. But because it's just one driver, there's not really anything we can do. And unfortunately, we just have to take it as it is. So you did a really good job, and thank you for some great battling today. Very entertaining. That's definitely going to go in the highlights. And hopefully we can see you do a better job in Singapore. With better luck, of course. Singapore is going to be a very prestigious race to do well in. So I hope you can do well there. Nifojan in P3. Sitting behind Andrews. That is into the pit lane, PJ. And that's going to be a possible call here for Andrews. Andrews seems to want to go out a little bit longer. He knows he's in that DRS range, so he could, in theory, consider going a little bit longer. But he could also just go into the pit lane. He knows that if he does split, then it's going to be very difficult. Nifo is going to have a look at a move here. He's going to go for it. He knows what he's got to do. And that's going to be Andrews braking nice and early. Not going to waste any time. Interesting. He did that with Zingy early on. It just seems to be that he wants to go for damage limitation. He's sat waiting behind, and it's fair enough. But it's weird. It's very weird. That's a flashing light there for Nifo as he's so close, almost getting to Zingy right here into this final sector of the circuit. And Andrews backing off. Now he's got the two cars ahead who are going to be very strong on pace with DRS themselves. So is Andrews going to have to make it to the pit lane this lap? Is he? Yes, he is. He's going to go into the pit lane there as he brakes as late as he possibly can. Is the undercut going to be good enough here? Now, Nifo sits in P1 and 2. I say that, Zingy and Nifo sits in P1 and 2. Now, if these guys fight, Andrews is going to gain a lot here. If they don't fight, Andrews is screwed. Lap 14 out of 27. These guys have a little bit longer to go, of course. They need to go... well, actually, I say that. They only need to go about... what, another lap or two? Maybe 2 more laps? And then they can go into the pit lane, possibly? Nothing's going to happen for now. Everybody's just sitting tight. These two are the closest at the moment to one another, but nothing will change They're just going to sit behind. Nifo's looking very quick and putting that pressure on Zingy at the moment. I have to say, what an incredible drive for Jordi on that setup there. Of course, you know, default setup, everything's completely out the way. Zingy's going to take it into the pit lane, and that will be Nifo being released into clean air. Gonna go one lap later than Andrews, prevent him from really getting a major undercut. So this is going to be really, really painful here for Andrews. Is Nifo going to go one lap later, or is he going to go another lap over Zingy? I don't quite know. That's something we'll have to find out in a little bit. But the question really is, where is Andrews going to come out according to Zingy, of course? Because he could be ahead, possibly. It might be enough. No, I think the tyres are just going to be nice and warm for that AlphaTauri on that outlap, and he's going to be able to warm his up now pretty quickly. And Andrews needs 2/10 to be able to get into DRS range, and that will be crucial if he wants to hold on. He can still do it, goes for a bit of a possible track extension, sends it into the next corner. That's a mistake there for Zingy. Is he going to do enough to get that DRS range? Is he going to get across the detection line? I think he did. I think he did. Is the DRS available? Yes, it is. It is. It is. I don't believe it. Unfortunately, that's Sidewinder making a mistake, as you can see in the background. But that is Andrews getting DRS on Zingy, crucially, on pit exit. Absolutely amazing. He needs that for sure. He definitely needs that. Nifojan, very, very creative on the track limits. He's doing a good job so far, but he needs to be careful. Goes into the pit lane, reacts immediately to what Zingy did just a lap ago, and he is probably going to be in a bit of trouble here, because now Andrews has got that DRS, and he should, in theory, according to undercut strategy, be losing time. Although Zingy kind of did gain a bit of time on Andrews, I guess you could say, maybe, I don't know. Anyway, you can see the two cars in the background right there, as Zingy has Andrews close behind. Andrews did not do enough to get to DRS range so far. That is Nifo, going to be side by side, but it's not going to be enough. Nifo will sit in P3, and he's lost out big time, having to wait for his teammate to go for that pit stop. What a shame. What a shame. Nifo made that move, Andrews pitted, covered him off immediately, thought, you know, if you're going to go for an overtake, I'm just going to let you go and do my own thing. And it's worked perfectly. No I say no DRS. DRS might actually be available here for Andrews if he's done enough. Very, very, very tricky on the rear here for Nifojan as he gets those tyres warmed up. He doesn't get DRS of Andrews ahead, so he's actually being the one that lost out here. It's a very, very interesting situation going on. Benjamin and Robbo lead the way as they haven't made pit stops yet on lap 16 out of 27. Trying to extend it a little bit further. Would Robbo dare to go for a soft tyre? We know that he's very, very creative on his strategies, of course. Luke 11 seconds behind. Same strategy as Nifo. He's got a lot of work to do after starting at the back of the grid for that race, from the sprint race, of course. He lost out a lot. He did lose out a lot of time. So it was crucial. Not too easy to overtake around here in France. Both lead cars into the pit lane. Robbo and Benjamin following one another. Not going to bother wasting any more time at this point. Zingy leads the way, and Andrews not going to be in DRS. He is going to be in DRS range, and Nifo's going to catch back up as well. So a nice little train here, and that's going to be Zingy under pressure once again. Now, 2/10 is the gap between Zingy and Andrews. Nifojan is going to want to get through immediately. And to be honest, I'll tell you what, Andrews probably will have to let Nifo go here. If Nifo's going to charge for it, he is going to charge for it. And Andrews should probably let him go, because you know, if he can get slungshot, that's going to help him massively. And Andrews does not fight him at all. That's EgoPro retiring in the pit lane, unfortunately. And that is going to be points to wherever you finish in this race. 10th position for Sidewinder would be a point. And Andrews sitting in P3 at the moment. Can't do anything about it at this stage. Just having to wait. He's got that hard tyre. He's going to be in this for the long game. Will his tyres die out enough towards the end to give him a real problem? I don't think so. I think he's going to be pretty much stuck where he is unless the cars ahead fight. You can see 9/10 is the gap, which is so tricky. That's Nifo pushing on the ERS and getting that DRS, getting a fastest lap of the race as well, as he really does try his best to get to Zingy, because he knows if he doesn't get Zingy now, that is the race win gone. Any chance of it, of course, that is gone. And Andrews has that 3-second time penalty. At the moment, he's just sitting in that P3 position. That's another retirement in the pit lane for the Aston Martin team. Sebi, unfortunately, going into the pit lane early. Nifojan getting himself a time penalty as we speak. And Zingy, at this stage of the race, is cruising. He just needs to make sure he doesn't get any warnings himself, and he'll be good to go. A double DNF for Aston Martin. Jordi in P12, of course, having their issues earlier on. A roller coaster of a race. These guys are having a very nice battle, as they are, of course, leading the way, which also makes it, of course, very nice and sweet. 2/10 behind is Nifo, so he's holding on nicely, and he knows that he's got to put that pressure on, because by putting that pressure on, he's going to push Zingy into a mistake. And Zingy doesn't have a time penalty, so he needs to push Zingy into a mistake. Otherwise, Zingy is going to be done. He will win this race, no questions asked, and that will be that. Sorted. DRS available, but no overtake for now. Jordi, we can look into it for future races if you like. I'll be welcome to that. I won't sort anything out now. We'll stay on with the action if that's all right. But I'll talk to you afterwards and we can try and get something sorted out. It would be nice to have some expertise, of course, because I'm not the best in the world. Yeah, we'll get you in for another time. No problem. Getting close is Nifo. That's Zingy. Sitting in P2. He's got that pressure on. How much will he feel it? That's the question. You can see he really keeps it far left as much as he can, because he knows there's a bump in the circuit. Everybody else doesn't really bother. But here we go. Oh my lord. Nifo really making sure Zingy knows he's there. Really keeping that pressure on. He doesn't want Zingy to relax. He knows what he has to do. He can't go ahead. He can't overtake. He has to fight Zingy to force him into an error and then give him a penalty. He has to do it, otherwise he's lost it. And yes, these guys are teammates, but they're rivals. You saw in Mexico early on in the race, Zingy was trying to force Nifo into a mistake. Then, of course, they did try and work together later on, which we won't talk about what happened. But it's crazy. Even though they're teammates, they are really trying to push each other into these errors and kind of screw each other up, I guess you could say. Not too much, of course. We saw in Imola it wasn't too bad, but still, that's what it's about at the moment. DRS is going to be very crucial for Nifojan. The energy will be crucial. He loses the car slightly. He's going to lose a big chunk of time and a big run. It will be cancelled out by the DRS, so he'll be able to gain back a little bit, but that is going to be any chance of an overtake or pressure gone. He catches up significantly right here, but it's not going to be anything to phase Zingy. Zingy, yeah, sure, he gets nervous, but he doesn't really crack too much under the pressure. So that's why he's such a tough driver to race against. even if you try your hardest, and even if he's trying his hardest, doesn't get scared. He might feel a little bit of pressure, and he knows what it's at stake. But he holds his nerve. Maybe it's just a bit of Scottish kind of vibe, I guess. DRS available once again. He's not going to be close enough for an overtake, but for his sake, he needs to just make sure he doesn't make a mistake like he did last lap. Interesting lag once again, and I think that might be on my end, unfortunately, because we had this throughout the entire stream. I'm going to have to do some investigating to see who left the session and rejoin the session, of course, because I think that might have caused a couple of laggy issues. That is a pit lane stop for Heischler as he goes in for an unscheduled stop. If Jan can't find a way through, we are going to go on board with the two Alpines because there's not going to be an overtake right here. The two Alpines of Benjamin and PJ. Benjamin starting the sprint race on pole position as he managed to get a lap in, and it was good enough to sit himself in front, of course. So he did a very, very good job of that one. And now PJ is going to try and find a way back through. Benjamin has recently got that fresh tyre on. He's going to be very, very, very quick all the way to the end. But PJ, he's going to be pretty much consistent all the way to the end himself. He's got no time penalties. He's only going to get quicker later on. And he has the DRS. So Ben has got a bit of a situation on his hands. They are teammates, and after all, PJ is the higher tier driver, so Benjamin probably not going to be worrying too much about it. But still, you know, saying, I could have done this. Track glory, it is something that you want to kind of have, of course. You know, it's very, very nice to have. PJ and Zingy, the only two without time penalties at the moment. So, yeah, it's a very, very tricky circuit. And to be honest, these guys might struggle a little bit later on. The longer you go into the race, the harder it is to hold on. As that is a mistake, a big mistake there for PJ. That must be a lag. That's lag. That is big, big lag. I don't know who's lagging, but because lots of people are lagging, it seems like it might be me. Interesting situation, and I do apologise for all the issues. Nifo, Jan and Zingy. Nifo going to go for the move here on Zingy. Zingy's going to let him go. He will sit behind. Is he going to get a good exit here, actually? He gets a very nice line. He's going to challenge on the ERS immediately, but just let go. It's lap 22 out of 27. Last time around in Imola, he made the mistake of going for the move a little bit too early on, and then Nifo got back through and took the win of that race. Now, Zingy has been a bit wiser to that. He's going to sit behind Nifo and then get that DRS on that final lap. And honestly, with the time penalty that Nifo has, he's probably not really worrying too much. He can just sit behind and relax. So Zingy has everything under control. It is his race to lose at this stage. Nifo, honestly, it's an absolutely honourable race from them today to come in such short notice and put in a performance like they have. There was a bit of an issue early on, but of course, but still doing a very good job so far. Both AlphaTauris driving in a very impressive manner. That is Zingy getting a 3-second time penalty, so it's back on. It is back on. Zingy is going to have to make this move on the final few laps, otherwise he's going to be in trouble. Now, Nifo has to recognise, why would Zingy go for a move here? Why would he go for a move on the early laps? He now has to recognise that and save ERS to fight for later on in this race, because at this stage Zingy is just going to sit behind, waiting that DRS and then go for the move anyway, even though he's got that time penalty. Nifo has to recognise that sooner rather than later, otherwise he's going to keep using that ERS to stay ahead and ruin himself. He's going to be in big trouble. I will tell you what, he's got a lot of pace in that car. Look at the difference in line. He's really trying to carry it wide and keep that speed in the car and get that traction down, and he is, and he's keeping it so close to the track limits as well. Both drivers are, to be honest. As you can see, they got a little bit too close on track limits, even on a couple of occasions. He's very, very quick, but can't seem to shake off the Scotsman, so he's just sat there waiting. The Flying Dutchman, the Flying Scotsman, it doesn't matter. Who is it going to be who wins this race? You can see Andrews in P3, maybe regretting that medium tyre to start on, and it just wasn't enough to challenge these guys later on. It was a great effort, however. Now, DRS will be available once again. Lap 24 to 27, it's really going to be a thinking game, a psychological game. Who's going to be making the move? That's a mistake there for Nifo-Jan. Zingy, could he spot his opportunity? That's the Mercedes, that's not Zingy. Here's Zingy. He's not close enough. 7/10 is absolutely insane. 7/10. He does catch up a little bit, but not really enough to challenge Nifo. And he's not exactly got too much energy himself left. He uses a bit of energy here. Nifo no longer flashing on the back of that car. He all of a sudden seems, I say he's now flashing, he might have a bit more control over this race than we actually thought he had. So both AlphaTauris once again going hard, and into the final laps of this race we'll get another situation like we did in Imola, when the race leader, the race winner, will be decided on the final few laps. Who will it be? Is Zingy going to try and get back through after a phenomenal sprint race, or is Nifo going to make it 2 in a row and close up to his championship rival and make sure that he makes up for those issues, those technical issues out of his control earlier on in this season? What's it going to be? Lap 25 out of 26. We're so close to the end of this race. Who's going to go for the first move? Is Nifo going to try and push everything they possibly can? It looks like they are, because they don't have really any energy to actually push. Or is Zingy going to try and make the move early on? Or is he just going to wait to the final lap? He's got a severe advantage with that DRS. Nifo, 6/10 once again though. Is that trap position going to be enough? And is he going to be able to secure that P1? At this stage, look at this. Look at this. It looks like it will. He's losing Zingy on the straight. Unless Zingy is lifting off to try and hold on, he's losing Zingy on the straight despite Zingy having that DRS. It's absolutely insane. Lap 25 out of 27, we're about to come to the end of it and enter the penultimate lap. And that is when I would expect someone to go for some sort of attempt to put the pressure on, make a move, and then go for it on the final lap. If we can't see an attempt at an overtake from Zingy on the penultimate lap just to put that pressure on, it might be decided already. It's gonna be very close, that's for sure, whatever happens. And Andrews not gaining on these guys, even though they're very close to one another. Zingy mighty in that final sector as he now makes it 4/10. DRS is going to allow him to catch up a little bit. Both drivers flashing on the batteries as they head on to the penultimate lap of this race. They can't really find anything more on each other. Now, he does get that to 2/10. Brilliant first sector here for Zingy as well. So he's managed to find a little bit. It's right here, though, is where Nifo is superior. He's absolutely dominant on the traction, which is something you don't really expect against Zingy, who is usually the one to beat. Now, Zingy, DRS, closer than ever. This is going to be his main opportunity to make a move, and I think he has to go for it, but it's not going to work. He's too far away. Nifo will stay ahead for now. He's got one lap to really defend. Not getting a great exit. Zingy, he doesn't try and spot anything. We know Zingy's very good in this final sector. He had a very good first sector as well. It's the middle sector that Nifo is very strong on. He has naturally very good straight line speed, which is a severe advantage. Zingy knows that he can't afford to overtake Nifo on this lap, and he's going to have to wait for that final lap of the race. He learnt his lesson from Imola, but time will tell if it was the right call We're about to start the final lap of the French Grand Prix. Nifo leads the way and Zingy sits in P2. DRS will be absolutely everything. Who's going to come out on top? The two AlphaTauris going into turn 1 for the final time. This is going to be Zingy's sector to try and hook up. Cuts the corner significantly. Got to be careful he doesn't do that too much, because otherwise he's going to throw it all away anyway. Now, DRS is about to become available. They just need to make sure that we're within detection, and they will be. There's no question about it. DRS will be available for the final time here for Zingy. This is his only real chance to make a move. It's his best chance, I should say. DRS is available, but Nifo is so quick in a straight line. Despite having DRS, they're pretty much even. Nifo's going to hold on. He's got a final sector to just take this, and he will look at winning 2 in a row. Nifo leads the way. It's going to be so difficult for Zingy to be able to find anything back now. I don't know what's going to happen. The final sector is almost over. There's a couple corners left, but 9/10 is the gap, and there's not really any overtaking opportunities. He's just got to cruise all the way to the end, and he is going to go for number 2 this season and 2 consecutive wins. Nifojan comes around the final few corners, and he's going to do it in an incredible way. What a race that was. Nifo is going to win the French Grand Prix, and Zingy will settle for P2 in the end. End Andrews for a P3. Robbo doing a brilliant job getting that practice in for tomorrow in a P4. Luke recovering to P5. Benjamin, Sidewinder, PJ and Heisler finishing off the order. Actually, that could switch up. We could see Sidewinder lose out to PJ if they're not careful. PJ did get a time penalty. So do have a look at that one. We will quickly go and check. Is PJ going to be there? Sidewinder goes off the circuit. I don't think it's going to be enough to cause him any issues, and that will be how it ended. Wow. Nifo has won the French Grand Prix 2 seasons in a row. 2 seasons in a row. This is his circuit. He's just absolutely incredible at Paul Ricard. It's amazing. It's just amazing. An incredible way to finish off this event. There was ups, there was downs. There was a sprint race to make it very interesting. But I don't think it mattered. This just made it so exciting regardless. Nifojan has won their 2nd race this season. They catch up slowly but surely to Zingy. Zingy is doing a very good job of damage limitation. What a race that was. Keeping his championship alive here as we're done with round 7. He's trying to make sure that he gets on top of this. And he's doing everything that he needs to. Once again, going to the top spot of the podium is Nifojan. Absolutely amazing stuff. Nifo wins, Zingy in P2. Then we have End Andrews, Robbo, followed by... There we go. Nifo takes the win, Zingy in P2. Then we got End Andrews, Robbo, Luke, Benjamin, PJ, Subwinder, Heisler, DNFing was Sebi, Igapro, and Jordi earlier on. Race director, just in case we need to, and this time it will work because it's the main race, so it's an interesting way of doing things for the game, but it is what it is. And then we'll quickly go to the sprint race to see if we can get the race director on that, but I don't think it's going to give it to us. I think it's going to give us the feature race one anyway, or the main race I should say. Yeah, so that is going to be how that one goes. That is the sprint race done, and that is the main race done. Absolutely amazing. Everyone getting a time penalty, but it kind of cancelled out. And Nifo takes the win in the end today. We'll be back for the post-race interviews. We'll see you in a bit. Hello everyone and welcome back to LSI F1 World Championship. We're today for the post-race interviews of the French Grand Prix. That was pretty crazy. We start the interviews with our double race winner now, Jan. You've won not only 2 consecutive races, but you've now gone and won the French Grand Prix twice in a row. How was that? That was absolutely amazing, I bet.
I mean, it was very, very difficult. I mean, for those who didn't know, like, I came back 20 minutes before the race. I came back home from vacation from Finland, and the journey was quite long because traffic and flight delays and whatever. So I came absolutely destroyed already, because even though you don't do anything, like, the waiting still makes you tired. And then, so basically I did like 2 TT laps and 2 Grand Prix laps. That was all my practice, and I was like, well, this is gonna be fun, isn't it? So I headed to quali, and then, I mean, I can already feel like I don't know where the limit is. So I over pushed a lot and I invalidated a lot. So I started P9 because I still set a lap time, unlike Zingy, my teammate then. And sprint starts, I mean, it was there wasn't one incident on the straight, but I didn't have contact. I don't know what happened with Rubble and Ben. I'll have to look into it. But I was alongside, and then I go into the corner, and then 2 cars are gone. So I have to look what happened there. But for the rest, it was quite a fun race. You know, P2. I was lucky that Sidewinder made a mistake. I don't think I could have overtaken him, or maybe I did. I don't know. But it was good. I couldn't overtake Singy in the end, which was fine. And then the real race, you know, keeping calm. I was getting really tired at the end. I was really hoping for a safety car so I could rest my eyes, but. Yeah, it was. I was surprised at my pace, but there was probably a bit more in there. But yeah, it was an amazing battle with Singy, and in the end I had a probably lower fuel, lower tire wear, and lower wings, so it was quite easy in the end, and everything stacked up against him, and he still did a great job keeping me behind. So yeah, it was a very fun race.
Yeah, absolutely amazing, close all the way up to the end, like last time. So yeah, really well done. And when you win, it's always an exciting one. Singapore is the next circuit. You won there last time as well. Do you think you can do another one?
I think the circuit was nicknamed after Ziggy for a long time. I think last time it was a mix of pace and a bit of luck. So I mean, I have time now to practice, which will be a bit better for such a street circuit. It is. I think. The last time I drove it was my favorite circuit alongside Japan, which went very well. But yeah, I think I can do quite well, maybe.
Awesome.
But hopefully.
Awesome. I like to hear that. Really well done today. Amazing job, and thank you for a great race. One last question: how would you describe your race in 3 words?
Straight line speed.
Thank you very much. We'll see you next time. Well done today.
Thank you.
And we move on to Zingy, P2 in the order. Sorry, we're going to quickly go to Zingy here. Very, very, very tough race. Amazing start for the sprint race, though. Can you take us through that one? Qualifying also. Maybe is it focus or something? I don't know.
It's so what's the race? So I started 11th, and I was like, yeah, mate, I'm just gonna send this. Fuck it. I mean, sorry, screw it. And I went into turn 1, and then everyone just started spinning about the place. I'm up into P2, Niffle's up into P4 or whatever. And then we just got past Sidewinder, who made a mistake eventually. And then I kept him behind because I just had the downforce to keep it within the corner so he didn't get DRS. Because if he got DRS, well, I was finished.
Yeah.
That's one way to put it. The proper race, it was kind of not boring, but it was just more of just trying to keep the car nice in the straight line, which Neville actually done, and I'm happy for him because we get double 1-2s. He won both of them. But last season, I don't know if I mentioned, but I had issues with my tyre wear, and it seems I also did here because Neville was on like what 50-60% when he finished. I was near on 70.
Right.
I know I pitted a lap before, but it didn't constitute to the 4-5%.
So do you think you were pushing the rest of the car a little bit too hard to try and make up for the straight line speed difference? Or is it just something else completely?
I'd say probably a mix of the controller not being as smooth and me pushing the car too much. can be a factor. However, you can't really pinpoint these things unless you do proper testing. So I'm not going to say what, but I do hope for next time we do go to France. If we not go to France. No, we're not going to go to France, are we?
No, we're not.
Because 2023 is not in the calendar. So unless we do it the summer season, then I don't have to worry about the tire wear anymore. But if we do, I'll try my best to fix it. But I mean, what can you do sometimes?
Yeah, for sure. Singapore, you're going to have to try and get some something different in to try and find a way past Nivo, because it's not looking too easy at this stage.
Well, Singapore's more of just not straight line, corners. So run higher down force as I'd like to do, and then I'll
Run away into the distance.
Yes.
Yeah,
Sorry, someone
yeah.
walked in.
All good. One last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
Niffle the goat.
Thank you very much. We'll see you next time. Well done today. And we move on to Benjamin. Ben, pole position. Didn't quite work out in the end. But are you happy with the quali lap at least?
Well, I won qualifying, so I win the race.
Fair play. So maximum points today. Are you happy with that?
Maximum points, indeed, yes. It was the races were a bit shit, but quali was
What happened
alright.
off the start line?
Oh, I was just showing off and just doing a bit of a burnout for everybody. The crowd was there. Started running my first pole, and then a bit laggy and stuff, and then I just got like wheel tangled with F1 physics, and it just spazzed out, and yeah, it's no fun. And then next thing you know, I'm going through turn 1 and 2 with people passing me with 30-mile-an-hour overspeed. So it was all sideways, but it was at Anders. Yeah, apologised to him, but like I couldn't see him, and then the time I saw him, it was too late. And to be honest, I was sliding in this direction anyways.
The camera angle was a bit difficult, so we didn't actually see anything really.
It was a bit laggy, but nothing on PJ's level. But the sprint race wasn't good anyways. I forgot who I had behind me, but they kept pushing at me, and I had to keep going really defensive, and I would drop like 8/10 just to block a corner. Then yeah, to be honest, I wasn't losing out on anything because I had 5-second penalty, so I was going to the back regardless with that pack.
Yeah.
So I didn't really lose on much, but race, I got held up a bit from people because I went straight to last place and start. Another nice burnout for the crowd. Yeah, basically got stuck behind some slower people. People in front built a gap, and then had a few problems with like getting past PJ and stuff, and swapping positions with PJ when he's a bit quicker, and had a collision with Ash, but was already out of contention by then, and little things basically.
Yeah, so eventful, maybe not the right eventful phrase to use, but yeah, is what it is, I guess.
It was alright.
Yeah, still did a very good job regarding how late you came in, and putting it on pole position is pretty good. So
I didn't even think it was Paul. I was like, no, this might be a decent lap in chat, and then pole position, I'm like, can't be right.
Fair enough. Singapore, I know you're probably not going to be there, but is it a circuit that you like?
When Singapore's next week, innit?
Yeah. Is it a circuit that you like? Do you prefer it over France?
To be honest, usually hate France. Everything about it, and then I've done well there, so Singapore, we'll see. I might be on Alfie setup, so I'm gonna have to ask him if I can have a go on it as soon as we'll be back home. But yeah, we'll see. Probably not getting well.
Yeah, it'd be good to see if we can, but if not, no worries. Thank you very much. One last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
The chicken wraps.
Thank you very much. We'll see you next time. Well done today. Enjoy them. And we move on to Haish. That was tough. That was a very, very tricky circuit, or a very, very tricky drive. The circuit is pretty tough on traction.
Well, yeah, it's kind of weird with this game. That one time it's you have a good race around a certain circuit, and another time you have a bad race around the same circuit. Yeah, it is what it is, I guess. Tough luck as well, so things could have been a lot different if I didn't have the bad luck.
Yeah, it's a shame. Singapore.
Not only the spins, also the bad luck.
Yeah, for sure. Singapore, Is that a circuit you think suits you a bit more than France?
Uh, I don't know. To be honest, it's been a while since I've driven it. Yeah, I like the circuit because it's so challenging, and yeah, the only part I don't like about it is it's fucking long. Yeah, I think I can have a good one because I have all the time to practice for it.
Yeah, yeah. Fair enough, fair enough. Hopefully we can see you have a bit of a better run there, because it would be good to see you up the order, but it is a shame. It's how it went. One last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
Yesterday was better.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time. Well done today.
Thank you.
We move on to Jordi, one of the most unlucky drivers on the grid at the moment. An amazing start to the race, I will say, though, so really well done for that. Great battles. I don't know, can you explain what's going on with the PC at the moment, or not really understanding what's happening?
Wait, you're talking to me?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Well, so what happened? I'll just explain the whole situation what happened. So, I had my F1 ready up since I knew if I exited my F1, I would have had the same problem. So I thought I'll keep my F1 on for the rest of the day, so I will avoid this problem. Then I get a crash code when I join your lobby, and I crash. So then I get this crash code, verify your files, Steam says, and I verify my files, of course. Then I try to start up my game again, try to get into your lobby. I'm in your lobby for just a few seconds, getting my setup ready, and my game just crashes before I selected my setup.
Right.
So then I verified my files again, restarted my PC, started up my PC, and then what happens when I start up my F1, I get the same error code again. So then I just fully shut down my PC. I disconnect the power cord, I disconnected my Ethernet cable. I avoided every startup of my programs. So Discord, Skype, TeamSpeak, File Explorer, all that kinds of shit. And it works, finally. Maybe it's because I was lucky, because I'm definitely for certain the problem is not from the programs, because those programs can't cause us problems. And then I'm in with a default setup, me thinking Park Firm will actually give me the best feed forward and actually let me select a setup so I can maybe have a chance of becoming in top 3, which was not the case. So I quickly speedran an unstable setup, made just a 6-lap setup that will be enough for softs and for low fuel setup for low fuel, and I just made the best of it.
Yeah. I mean,
And,
honestly, it was a great battle that you gave us. Entertainment-wise, it was insane. So I knew that you were probably on a default setup because of the situation, and that makes it even more incredible. So yeah, really well done. And all I can say is I'm sorry for these issues. Singapore, do you like that circuit more than France? And if we can try and fix these issues, do you think you will be able to finally show what you can do?
Street circuits, I'll warn these guys, street circuits are my best thing in this game, so I'll just tell them. I'm literally in top 100 on every street circuit. So,
Awesome.
Yeah, probably 98 or something, but I really sweat on street circuits and it's really my thing, so I'll try my best, of course, and hopefully I won't have these problems.
Yeah.
And or else, if I have these problems, it will be my fucking duty to make sure that Codemasters and EA won't get their fucking license anymore for the next few years, because they really have to fix their fucking game, mate. I mean, you can't just literally give them crash codes and blame it on their hardware. Well, it's literally the most up-to-date hardware I've seen with the most updated drivers.
Yeah.
With they're even overclocked.
Mm. Yeah.
So I really don't get what the problem is here. So, I mean, yeah, very unfortunate, but I'll give them a good fight in Singapore. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, we can stay optimistic and hopefully it gets better soon. One last question. How would you describe your race in 3 words?
Can you swear a little bit? Like,
I prefer not to, but if it's a must, then
oh no, then I won't. Codemasters can
go.
frick off. You know.
There you go. There you go. Thank you
There you
very
go,
much. Thank you very
No
much. We'll
problem.
see you next time. Well done today. Great effort. And we move on to PJ. PJ, that was a nice little battle you had your teammate today. Some
I'm here. Yes, yes. Sorry.
good stuff. Good stuff. Yeah, Benjamin, nice battle with your teammate today, and yeah, can you take us through that one?
Yeah, I mean, I thought I would have a good pace today, but unluckily I had a small contact with Sidewinder at the start, which put me at the back of the grid.
Right.
And my mates in voice chat told me that I was lagging very, very much.
Right.
And they said I teleported around the whole track, and I was checking multiple times, tabbing out, and watching what causes this loss of internet connection. But I
Right.
couldn't find anything, and I even disconnected out of the internet on my phone, but I don't know what it was. But yeah, I was just everywhere, and then I lost also some seconds because I was leaving out of the game,
Right.
which teleported me back as well. But yeah, still it was good. It was alright.
Yeah, I mean, that explains some of the issues that we saw. I don't really understand what it is. I thought it was maybe on my end, but I don't
Me
know.
neither.
It might be a lobby thing, and unfortunately maybe you were just the one to receive the big problems. But all I can say is I'm sorry. We'll see if we can understand the problem, but other than that, that's it.
Yeah.
Singapore, do you like it more than France?
I must say no, because it is very tight, it has many slow corners, and I'm not that good in accelerating out of slow corners. So I don't know what's coming next week.
Fair enough.
But I must say about the connection thing is that I had no problem because anyone else was just driving normal, and in my view nobody teleported. But
Right.
as it looks like I was teleporting away with at the rest of in the rest of the people's view.
Right, okay, yeah. We'll look and see what we can find, but yeah, I don't really know what else we can do. It's a shame, but it is what it is. One last question: how would you describe your race in 3 words?
I am everywhere.
Thank you very much. We'll see you next time. Well done today. And that's been it for the post-race interviews. Thank you very much for watching. It's been a pleasure. We will see you tomorrow for the F1.5 EU Championships. We'll see you next weekend for the Singapore Grand Prix. Make sure you check the weather, because that could be a wet one. We'll have to wait and see when the time comes. Other than that, bye-bye. We'll see you soon. Good night.